Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Hi, everybody. How was everybody's weekend?
Good so far.
Are you
First,
still? I hear that. How's everybody's weekend other than Nicole?
Mine was pretty good.
it's been
All I did
going
was work.
good.
Good, guys. Let me make sure I can hear you. Well, I just want to give a shout out to the majority of you guys. I'm so excited to see that everybody is like actively posting on social media. I know that it can seem overwhelming to think that you need to do that like every day, but once you get in the habit of it, I promise it's like brushing your teeth. You're like, okay, I got to do this today, and it takes 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm just super excited to see everybody's staying active with that. Has anybody seen any traction from any of their social media posts? Like anybody inquiring?
So I actually I've had people literally call and text me from posts that I've done on TikTok. And it's so funny because when they text me, I saw your ad. Can I get information? I'm like, yeah, who is this? What are you looking for?
Yeah. What I always do, I don't know if you do this, Nicole, but like what I always do is because obviously like we try to post every day. So I always ask them like, can you send me a screenshot of the post that you're referencing? Because I mean, they're like, I want more info, but it's like, okay, but about what? Like, do you do that?
Yes, I have. I have told them, I'm like, I've posted so many videos. Please send me a screenshot because I want to make sure that I'm giving you the correct information to the correct property.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Has anybody else gotten any inquiries from their posts? No. Well, if you haven't, don't worry. I promise it takes consistency. And I know I've talked about this a lot. It really has nothing to do with how many followers you have. Um, Definitely do not, like, I will continue to say to you guys, if you already have personal accounts, don't start a new account that has zero traction on it. Like, definitely utilize an account that already has followers on it, even if it's 100 followers. Just I'm a really big advocate for not just starting from zero and just starting a brand new account. Obviously, if you want to have your personal account and then start a brand new account, but making sure that you're like adding both accounts as collaborators, at least on Instagram, so that you're getting some sort of traction, I think is really important. But definitely don't get discouraged if you're not like seeing anything from it, because I promise once you start being consistent, you'll see something. And that's why if you guys are on our team, if you guys are posting on Instagram, feel free to add us as a like tag us on it as a contributor, because I will accept it and then it'll shoot out to our followers too, so that the algorithm sees that this post is getting views. So definitely don't be afraid to do that. I don't know, Ava may be on this call. I think she may be the iPhone name on here, but some of you guys have settings to where I can't add you guys as contributors. So if you want us to like add you, make sure that your settings are like set up so that we can do that. But if you don't want us for whatever reason to add you, that's okay too. I just want to like let you guys know. So today, I wanted to talk about a couple of things, but I personally, I feel like this last week, maybe last 2 weeks, it seems like the leads that I've been seeing on my end have gotten a lot slower. I don't know if any of like, has anybody else experienced that, or y'all still like on the same like frequency as far as like getting the same amounts of leads, or have you guys picked up? Like, what are y'all seeing with leads right now?
It's
Yesterday,
definitely slowed down. So
go ahead. Yeah, for me, Jordan, yesterday I did all new client stuff. Like it was, my whole day was full of setting up new clients, adding them as contacts to my phone, putting them into smart apartment data. So between basically the last 24 hours, I've gotten 6 new clients. But you know that doesn't mean much. Like I
Yeah.
might close one lease with those 6 people, but for me, it's been actually more busy than normal. But I'm starting to
Good.
get I'm starting to get referrals and also people just reaching out from searching and seeing my posts in the past. So it's definitely helping.
Awesome. So you've been busier or the same. Nicole, you said it's slowed down for you. I'll say that it's slowed, like I feel like it's slowed down on my end too over the last like couple of weeks. Has anybody else noticed anything? No?
Hey
Uh,
Jordan.
I was
Hey.
gonna say that I noticed that it started to slow down like a few weeks ago for me. Like I haven't been getting anyone.
Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Hey, sorry, I'm at a coffee shop, so sorry if there's some background noise, but it seems to be about the same for me. I'm noticing that a lot of people are moving in June or July. I'm getting a lot of leads that are like moving in the heart of the summer. So been trying to do better with building my pipeline a little bit further out, but it seems to be kind of consistent. It seems like a lot of people should be moving their summer.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know. It's interesting to see like what some of us are experiencing or what all of us are experiencing because it could be like extremely different depending on either where you're marketing or your strategy, or also like if you've been in the game for a while, maybe you're getting referrals now. But typically the summer is supposed to be like moving season. But if you're in a state, which all of us I think are, that is kind of warm to mild weather all year round. I don't really feel like there's a true moving season, other than I always see a really big pickup around November, December, like early January, because all the pricing drops because people ideally don't want to move during the holiday season. So that I do feel like you have moving season, which is supposed to be the spring and the summer, but I also see a really big pickup. I'm usually busiest during the end of the year because like prices drop and a lot of people know that. So it's just interesting to see what everybody has going on. So that kind of leads into like what I want to talk about, which may or may not resonate with some of you guys, depending on like what your business is doing. But I'm hoping that this can land in some form or fashion, even if it has nothing to do with like your lead generation. But as I always talk about, I really am a big believer that our industry is a really, really great like lesson on life. And so what I wanted to talk about today is I think like you can apply this to our business, you can apply this to your personal life. But I just think it's kind of an interesting thing that I have reflected on a lot in the past couple of years. And then also as I've like seen, it seems like the last couple of weeks it's been slower. On the lead gen, at least for me, I just kind of thought that this was like a cool topic that we could talk about today. So um, I know a lot of y'all are new, a lot of y'all have been in the industry for a while, but something that I am like, I like to be transparent about is that this industry does cause, this industry does have a lot of opportunities for us to experience rejection or for us to experience maybe things not working out the way that we thought they were going to or what we expected. And I think that this is an interesting topic to just kind of dive into today because, as I mentioned, we can apply this in so many different areas of our lives. But for the sake of us, you know, talking about our business, I wanted to dive into it in that way. So as far as like rejection or things not working out the way that we thought, some of the things that I can think about is maybe like us getting ghosted by a client that we were really excited about, or maybe a client that seemed like a for sure thing, or maybe somebody that had like a really big budget and we're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna work out. Maybe like our marketing efforts, maybe we put a lot of energy into whatever, like a certain marketing strategy, and maybe that doesn't work out, or we're not seeing leads come from it, or maybe we spent a lot of money on like doing ads or something and that didn't pan out. Um, Maybe clients, like this happens, I know a lot with us. Maybe we help a client a lot and maybe they don't list us and maybe we don't get paid. And that can be like a form of rejection or a form of like things not working out the way that we thought. Um, or also like this has happened to anyone that's like, I don't want to say anyone, but if you've been in the game for a while, you maybe have a client that you really tried to advocate for, and maybe they gave you a bad review, or maybe they were unhappy with your services and they let you know. All of these are things that, in my opinion, are forms of rejection or forms of things just like not working out the way that we thought they were going to. Does anybody can anybody relate to any of those things?
I
Oh,
had a
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a client once, and I had to change the process that I have for new clients because I went all the way to the point of touring a property with her, and her mother are sitting down at the table with the agent, and the mom asks if she can bring her washer and dryer with her. And that was the first I had heard that they wanted to bring a washer and dryer. So, of course, the property list that I was sending them was all washer and dryers included. And they ghosted me after that. Like they got really upset. But I tried to tell my client, I was like, I had no idea that you were bringing them. So
Yeah.
now I ask everybody that question. But yeah, like she got super upset, and they basically closed down the connection that I had with them. So that still upsets me, even though it's such a minor thing, like I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, because you were like genuinely you were trying to help them. But they left something out. So that's not anything that you could have controlled. So yeah, I could definitely see how that would still kind of just irk you a bit. Nicole, were you going to say something?
No, I was just agreeing with what
Oh,
you're saying, how you get all kinds of people in this field.
you do. You really do. Does anybody else have like a time when they felt like something just like a form of rejection or something that you're like, man, that really did not work out the way that I thought it was going to work out?
I have one. I had a recent experience with a client to where I went on, I think it might have been 4 tours with him. And I typically don't tour with clients, but I toured with him because it was his first time here in Atlanta. He's never been here before. And he was traveling because he had a job offer, and they like flew him out to show him around and take a tour of the office and all that good stuff. So we scheduled maybe 4 or 5 tours. I went to every last tour because I was just so sure that this person was actually moving, and found out a week later he said he was going to apply, never applied. And then his responses started becoming fewer and far further between. Found out that his offer was they basically resent his offer. So now he's no longer even moving to Atlanta. And it was like, I knew that I shouldn't have spent that much time on tours with a client because we can really just send here in Atlanta. But I did because, we took a liking to each other. And I felt like maybe me being there would add to the experience, could kind of help push the deal along, get it closed, and ultimately ended up with nothing.
Yeah,
And now
man.
he doesn't even respond.
And that's just like that really, I don't know, at least for me, like sometimes I can like take like I'm a really big empath, so like it's easy for me to like take on like other people's experiences or emotions or whatever. And so like for me that would just really hurt me because like man, I would feel bad that like their job got like taken away. I would feel frustrated that like I spent all this time on them and like nothing happened from it. And then yeah, I totally can understand. Um, well, something that I know I can like what I'm speaking to now is things that like either I personally have experienced or things that I have seen other agents do. And so like things that I have noticed when people come across feeling rejected or something not working out the way that they want, a lot of times people like it really gets them it's like a block for them. Like a lot of times where they just either feel like, man, this whole job isn't working out. I'm not good at what I'm doing. Or maybe it like just really discourages them to where they start like procrastinating a lot. Or a lot of times people will like, especially in our career, because a lot of it has to do with like social media and status and money. Like that's a lot of times what real estate is about or what it feels like it's about a lot of times. So a lot of times people will start like comparing themselves to others. Like, man, why is this other agent getting all happened. And it's really, really easy to either like procrastinate. I've seen a lot of times people will be like, and I used to be like this, where I would like want to overextend myself because I'm like, man, this really sucks that happened. I need to try harder. So then I just like try to do all of these additional things. I end up burning myself out. That's not great. A couple of other things that I listed was like people that have what I would say like very like them thinking that, oh, well, if I can control my efforts, if I can control the situation, then I will be successful. I will do better. So a lot of times people will like do the most about, oh, well, I need to go like set up all of these like systems, or I need to like go out and spend a bunch of money on like marketing or advertising, or I need like they start like overextending themselves to think, well, if I can just control how like this whole interaction goes with the next client, then I'm not going to experience this again. And then the last thing I listed was like people being like feeling like, oh, well, something I'm doing is wrong, so I need to start doing stuff that doesn't really feel good to me, that's like not authentic with me. For instance, like if somebody feels like, oh, well, all of these leads on Facebook are ghosting me, well, then I need to just go jump on camera and like start making content that like doesn't like that's fake, that doesn't really feel good, that's not really my vibe, that's not something I'm comfortable with or that I even really resonate with as far as like being on social media. So a lot of times I also see people start shifting into like, oh, well, let me just do what this other agent's doing. And then it ultimately is like not super authentic to them or super authentic to like how they operate as a person. And then it doesn't really work out either. So there's like a lot of different things I feel like that when we as humans, or even in this business, if we feel like we've gotten rejected or we feel like something didn't work out, then it a lot of times will lead to like all of these other things. And obviously, if you've been in this industry for a while, we all know, and I like that like Finian said, like, oh, I got however many leads yesterday, but it's a numbers game. And that's like truly something that we have to like drill into our heads. And that can be that literally can show up with anything in life. Like if like people talk about that with like any type of entrepreneurship, like or people who are like inventing something, people who are dating, people who are just doing anything in life, like everything is a numbers game in life, especially in our business. And we have to know that if like something didn't work out or we got rejected or we had a bad review or somebody was unhappy with our service, that that's not like a personal attack on us or a personal attack on how we're doing in our careers. I think everybody that's here, if you are here, you guys are dedicated to trying to do better. You're dedicated to like wanting to be successful in this industry. And so that should never really be something like, or not never, we're humans, it happens, but we should be aware and reflective when we start finding ourselves like doing all of these things that I just listed, as far as like wanting to give up or feeling really personally attacked by somebody being unhappy or feeling like we need to burn ourselves out. Like these are things that we can be super reflective about and be able to notice like, hey, whoa, I'm actually burning myself out right now because I'm still harping on what happened 2 weeks ago when that client ghosted me. And I think that this is something that I wanted to talk about because, as I mentioned, like I like to talk to y'all about what's really going on, like with me and like what I feel like has been my personal experiences. And over the past couple of weeks, I'm like, man, where did all the leads go? Like what's going on? But I know because I've been in this industry for a while, and also I've, you know, am a very like self-reflective person, that I now know that like when things start to slow down or if somebody's unhappy with my service or if I mess up in some way, like maybe I did mess up. Like maybe I sent somebody on a tour and I gave them the wrong appointment time or something. Like now I'm in a place where I understand that, like, obviously we all know, like, we're humans, we mess up, things don't always work out. But I do think that just from my experience and also watching other agents, it also is really, really easy to get hard on ourselves or just get hard on this industry in general, to be like, man, I'm not good enough, or everybody else is doing better than me. Or wanting to just give up and say, this stuff's not working. Like, why am I doing all of this marketing, or why am I like reaching out to all these people and nothing is like transferring into a lease? So I wanted to like touch base on this. Does anybody have like any of the things that I've like listed or anything that y'all can even maybe reflect on, like if you guys have felt like a sense of rejection or felt like something didn't work out, have you guys ever caught yourselves being like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this because of blank, blank, blank? No? Well, I want to invite all of you guys, like I as I like have mentioned earlier in this call, this industry is like such like I feel a really, really great opportunity to learn and grow about ourselves. And I really encourage you guys like to be try to be self-reflective on like things that are working, things that aren't working. If you like maybe you're having a bad experience or something doesn't feel good, like try to be self-reflective about like, okay, where exactly is this coming from? Because ultimately, like even Finian said earlier, like the way that us being self-reflective and us kind of looking at like what's going on with ourselves, what's going on with our business, that's only going to allow us to grow more personally and also grow more in our business. So I really, really encourage you guys, like, be reflective. If you guys have a bad day, or if a client doesn't go the way that you thought, or if you've been in a funk, like, ask yourself questions like, where is this coming from? What can I do to kind of like reflect on this and then also be able to like maneuver myself out of these feelings or these experiences. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is just the fact of like whenever we do feel like things aren't working out, and this is kind of what I was like touching on earlier, whenever we do feel like things aren't working out or we do feel rejected of some sort, some of the things that I personally do is like I reflect on what's going on. I reflect on how am I feeling, what happened in that situation. I also like to pause instead of do. As I mentioned like earlier, I'm somebody who used to like I would get very frustrated if like things didn't work out in a certain way with my business or with a client, and I would like do the most to try to like overcompensate. And now instead of doing that and ultimately burning myself out or giving myself time to like breathe and reflect, now I actually pause and I take time to reflect, or I take time to just rest. And I take time to like, maybe I had a bad day yesterday. Maybe today I'm just going to do something like Finian was talking about, putting clients' information into a database. Like I give myself a moment to be able to rest, reset, and not just put myself into overdrive because I'm frustrated about what happened with a client the week before. Another thing that I like to do, and like I like to be aware of, is also like we talked about, I think last time, is staying consistent. Like if we feel like, okay, I'm doing all of these like marketing efforts, and it's not panning out, it like things aren't really working, like staying consistent with that certain avenue at least for like 3 to 6 months to see like what's going on with it, instead of just giving up and saying, oh, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this type of marketing strategy because it's not working. Like staying consistent is super, super important. And there's a fine line like between, or there's a balance between like staying consistent, but also giving ourselves times for rest, for reflection, to take a break. Um, Obviously, like we can't pause, or we should not pause for say 2 3 weeks at a time, but there's nothing wrong with saying like, hey, I feel exhausted, I feel drained from this certain situation, or even from like our career path in general, and maybe I just need the next 2 days to just chill. And that those 2 days can show up on a Tuesday, Wednesday, those 2 days can show up on a Sunday, or that day can show up on a Sunday. Like there's never a right time to just say, hey, I need a break, I need to pause. I know a lot of people that are on this call. There's a handful of you guys that I could call out. Y'all are go-getters. You guys do the absolute most in a good way to close clients, continue to generate business. But as we talked about last time, like it is really, really important also for us to give back to ourselves, to reset, to rest. The other thing that I really like, something I wish I would have known a lot sooner, is a part of this business and also a part of life is just allowing things to happen and just trusting that things are happening exactly the way that they should. There's been clients that I've also had that I put a lot of work into, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. Say they ghosted me, say they didn't get the job, say they there was a girl I helped last summer that like I helped her I did the most for this girl, way more than I typically do. But her and her boyfriend broke up, so she no longer was moving to Houston. Like, there's so many different things that can happen. And where I used to get super frustrated or I would beat myself up or whatever the words are, now I'm just really, I like allow myself to have a moment and allow that moment to just be there in that moment and then move on and allow things and trust that like all of this stuff is working out. Like, there's been people that were supposed to move to Texas that did not even live in Texas. They were not from here. They didn't end up moving to Texas, and then come to find out they're referring clients to me. They live completely on the other side of the country. And so every single time that I feel like a sense of rejection or I feel like something didn't work out, even if I know, okay, well, I'm never gonna like get my value back. Like, I'm never going to get that time back. That money is not going to come back into my pockets. It's just a done deal. I now also understand and I trust that stuff always comes back around. I think I've told this story before that somebody that I used to work with, he was helping somebody with finding a home to buy, and he showed this person houses for like months, did the absolute most, like showed so many houses, sent in contracts, did a lot. And that person ended up completely ghosting them. I don't remember if it was like maybe the client didn't get approved for the loan. Like, something happened where I think the client was embarrassed. And so it had nothing to do with the actual real estate agent. It's just the client, something happened and they ghosted my previous coworker. Well, a year later, that specific client ended up referring their uncle, I think, to my coworker, and that uncle ended up purchasing hotels and purchasing like huge new construction, like home communities, just did like all of that money that he thought, oh, I lost in this one house deal. A year later, it came back into being millions of dollars worth of deals for him. And, instead of my previous coworker getting frustrated with that client or really beating himself up about it, or like some of us, like, maybe we have exchanged some words with people that we feel like wasted our time. But instead, that my previous coworker just really trusted what was going on, and it ended up coming back to him. Also, something that I wanted to talk about last time that I didn't really touch on is like us also just being super, super flexible. We all know that this career, like, different things can happen every single day. That's something that I love about our career, is that we're not just going and having the same routine every single day. We're not just dealing with the same people every single day. So a part of that is we also have to be flexible. So when things don't work out or we feel rejected, in whatever form or fashion with our jobs, we also just have to be flexible and just like let things roll off our backs. I know Phineas talked about that too, like in our company group chat, that if we have a client that's like not the nicest to us, just that's cool. Like, I'm just gonna like be flexible and understand that this is just a part of what we're doing. As Nicole mentioned, this industry, like, we deal with all different types of people, from people that are like one of the leads that came through recently, like somebody who's fresh out of jail. And then we have people that are like, moving to a new city because they are just got a huge promotion with a huge corporate company. Like, we have all different types of people that we come across. And obviously, it's our jobs as human, but also our jobs like ethically with the real estate boards, that we need to treat everybody the same. We need to treat everybody with the same amount of respect. Doesn't mean we have to work with everybody, but we have to be flexible and know that we're getting all different types of people that may be reaching out to us, especially if we're like advertising online, or if we're talking to people. We're not just getting people from referrals. Like, we all the time are going to get lots of different experiences, and that's going to come with like a lot of different personalities. So definitely just trying to stay flexible with your day, flexible with the experiences that you maybe interact with on a day-to-day basis is super, super important, especially whenever we're feeling like rejected or we're feeling like things aren't working out. I always try now in my life, I didn't used to be like this, but I just try to be super flexible about, okay, this door closed. Cool. I wonder, like, I become curious, what else is going to open? What other opportunity am I going to get? Just because this other door closed, it wasn't the right one. Does anybody have any examples of like you guys either taking rest or continuing to stay consistent, or maybe being flexible or trusting when things aren't working out for y'all?
So
Hey,
I actually have, I'm sorry. I
well, it's
think
too
we're on
bad.
the same page.
You go ahead.
We're thinking alike today. So I've learned to like literally just take a rest. I'm always on the go, and then just having that one day just to not even look at my phone, put it down, do me, take care of me, rewind, get my energy back is so important. And I've I've started to incorporate that in my life, and I see a little bit of more of a relaxed energy on me.
Yeah, it's super important. What were you going to say, Finian?
It was more related to a previous topic, but to let
Go
you know
ahead.
about like open doors and closed doors, I had a client similar to the one you were talking about where they didn't get the job and they got ghosted basically. But this client I was working with for, a couple months, and same thing happened to him, sort of. He got fired basically. So he was getting ready to sign a lease, and thankfully he didn't sign it because he would have, been kind of in trouble there. But the guy moved away to Arizona, and I've been in touch with him this whole time. Now, like he's got project management skills and things like that. He's a really smart guy, but he can't find a job still. So he's studying for his real estate license now, and he wants to become an apartment locator. So you never know, right? So we might have another team member for you to consider in the future. But it's weird
Yeah.
because, I didn't close that door down. I didn't get his business, but we've stayed in contact. And like you said about the real estate thing, you never know what it'll lead to. For all we know, he could end up making a lot of money in the future and be really happy about what he's doing.
Yeah, and I mean thank you for sharing that, because obviously, first of all, if you're in a area that a lot of people are moving to, you never know. They're Even if they're out of state, if they're in Arizona or something, they may know somebody who's moving to where we are. I mean, it's just that's kind of, I guess, the blessing of being in a place where a lot of people are moving to. Um, but also that actually kind of just makes me happy. And I feel like, Finian, you should be proud of yourself, because you obviously did such a good service to him that you inspired him to want to like go in a different direction with his career and with his life. And that's like a huge, huge compliment. So that's like amazing. You should be like feel really good about yourself about that. And also, like, those of you guys that have dreams or aspirations of wanting to start your own team one day or start your own company, you never know. Like, I've definitely worked with a lot of leasing agents or just people in general that they just really were inspired by what I was doing, or maybe how I was had the flexibility, how I was living my life, and they ended up becoming apartment locators, and then it ended up working underneath me. So definitely, like, even if you don't have a team right now or you don't have a company, like, these are all things that definitely can happen in the future. So that's awesome.
I have a few things to add. So I experience burnout a lot. Well, not a lot, but it happens. We get a lot of denials here in Atlanta. I'd say more than the average market, because we have an approval company here called Approved Shield, and it's just like it's very hard to get approved through Approved Shield. So we see a lot of denials, and it can get very frustrating because it can feel like, you're doing all the right things and then somehow still ending up coming up short because of something that, was out of your control. So over time, I've just kind of had to learn how to compartmentalize things and not take things so personally. When I first started, when people would get denied or like just not moving in general, I would take it personally. Over time, I kind of started building up that muscle to compartmentalize. Like, okay, Brianna Weaver is separate from leasing luxury with Bree, and sometimes you have to let leasing luxury with Bree take that and not you. So that was something that I had to learn over time, especially if it's something that's recurring and that's out of my control. And then also realizing that it's a numbers game. There are going to be deals that don't close in most cases. There are going to be more deals that don't close than ones that do when we look at, leads and close rates and all that stuff. So I also just started kind of like preparing for it on the front end. So making sure that I'm working with enough clients to compensate for the deals that are going to fall off, the deals that are going to fall, inevitably going to happen, whether people decide not to move or things happen, they go with the building we don't work with. So that was something that I also had to learn, and also like just build up that muscle too for the sake of my mental health, because if you think every deal is going to close, oh my gosh, you're going to drive yourself up the wall. So that came with time. And then also, just like you said, just taking a break when it does feel a little overwhelming, because sometimes, I mean, we are human. There is only so much that we can take. And sometimes it does feel like the clients are abusing us a little bit, especially because it's a free service. And sometimes we do a lot of work and end up with absolutely nothing. So I give myself grace, although, clients still text me, still call me, but to realize like sometimes you just need to take a step away for yourself and to get back on track. Because if you can't show up for yourself, there's absolutely no way that you can show up for clients. And if you're not giving them the best service, it's gonna show. And
Yes. No, yes to all of that. There was a couple of things that I wanted to even just also touch on that you mentioned. Like it is a numbers game, and that's why I've gotten to the space where like I don't get excited about a client until they have moved in. Like, I mean, a lot of times we'll have people that and even when they move in, sometimes you have a scenario where they get evicted or they whatever, but that doesn't happen very often. But I really, really try not to get excited about anything until they have physically moved in. Um, because I think it, like you were mentioning, Bree, like it does help you like build that muscle and like not get as disappointed if it doesn't work out. And also just be flexible that, hey, I could be working with this person today and next week I could never hear from them again. Like it's just something that on a mindset thing, we have to be able to build these muscles because otherwise we will not stay in this industry a long time or we could just really get down on ourselves. So I just wanted to like have this conversation today because this is like these are real things. I am a really big believer that you can do everything that you like. You can spend all the money in the world on everything with your business. You can absolutely do the most. You can burn yourself out. You can do all these things, but you're not going to be successful in this industry or really, in my opinion, anything in life if you don't have the right mindset. And so it's important to not just get on these training calls and talk about like, okay, this is what you could be doing for lead generation, or this is how you talk to a client. Like, yes, that stuff is important, but I'm a believer that in our industry, this is just like we're humans. We're the same way that I would help my best friend find an apartment if she was moving to a new city. That's what we're doing with our clients. So the actual helping clients part is really not that challenging. It's, in my opinion, it's really our mindset, making sure we're consistent, um, and also a little bit of like getting out of our own comfort zones, getting out of our own way, because this is not, um, although what we're doing is really easy, it takes a certain type of person to be able to be successful in this industry. It takes a certain type of person to be successful in entrepreneurship of any type. So I really wanted to like focus on a lot with our mindsets and also just taking note, like being reflective with ourselves and on these calls because I personally think that it's going to determine if you're going to be successful or not. I will be totally honest with you guys. There was a large part of when I first got started in the industry that it might have looked like I was doing really good. It may have looked like I was doing really good on social media and wherever, but I wasn't the money wasn't coming in. It looked like it, but the money wasn't coming in. And now looking back, I understand that the reason why I wasn't successful was actually because of my mindset and it was because of my personal habits. It was because of my like internal belief systems. It had nothing to do with that I wasn't trying. I was trying really hard and I was seeing so much traction, but ultimately I wasn't seeing the dollars in my bank account. I wasn't seeing the growth that I wanted in my business because my mindset was messed up. And so again, we can talk all day long about marketing strategies or like how to close clients. And yes, that stuff is important, but I really think that the main thing that's important is just how we take care of ourselves, how we like our flexibility just with what's going on a day to day. Even Nicole was talking about like taking a break. I try to make it an effort in my day to go take like a 30-minute walk. That's not a, oh, once a week I will take a break. Maybe I don't work on Sundays. Like I, every single day, I start my day like in a very quiet fashion. Either I meditate, I journal every day, and I will go take a 30-minute walk. And it just has become such a habit to me that I can feel in my body, okay, I've been sitting at this computer for 4 hours. I need to get up and move my body. I need to go outside. I need to stop looking at a screen. And so these are things that are just super, super important. It's not just like, these are not just personal development ideas and concepts. Like if you can be somebody like me who went from just super burnt out, comparing myself to others, um, maybe not having the like maybe being in the industry for the wrong reasons, like, oh, I just wanted to like make a lot of money. Like if you can go from being like that and then also coming on the flip side and realizing like the importance of treating people like they're humans. This is not just a commission check. This is us helping, serving others, to also being able to be aware that like we do have to take breaks. Burning ourselves out is not going to lead us to success any quicker. Like if you can be like me, or that's not the right way to say it. If you can, like I personally have experienced two different versions of myself, and I can definitely see that the money, the dollars, the success, the satisfaction, the life that I want to live all came when I changed my mind frame. And so I really wanted to talk to you guys today about this because there's a lot of you guys, pretty much everyone that's on this call, either you guys are super, super hustlers already, or you guys are just starting off in your journey and you guys are like may get swooped into these concepts and ideas of like burning ourselves out, or like, oh well, if I just make content the way that so and so is making like I just want to catch a lot of this on the front end, as opposed to like I had to learn the hard way. I spent years not understanding why I was not satisfied with like my career, not understanding why like the money wasn't coming in. Like I spent a lot of time in that space, and I just want to be able to like shed some light on my experiences and also have an open conversation with everybody that's on this call. I appreciate all the feedback that you guys have given, because these are real things that I just don't think a lot of people talk about in our industry. Everybody's just focused on like numbers, numbers, numbers. How much money do you have coming in? That stuff's not going to keep you in the industry for a very long time, because ultimately things happen and we do face a lot of rejection in our industry for whatever the reasons are. People ghosting us or people getting denied. It's just it happens. So I wanted to speak to this today. Does anybody else have anything y'all want to add to any of the stuff that we talked about? No? Well, as it was mentioned today earlier, and we've already talked about this a lot in our training videos and also on our community calls that we do like this is just a huge numbers game. So we just have to be able to find the balance between being consistent, showing up to do the work, but also understanding and being flexible and knowing that like some of these people are not going to work out. Which means that we always have to be like lead generating. We always have to be trying to build a referral business. And if you guys have been in the industry for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you guys know that once you have been in this game for a while, people will start referring business to you. So it does actually get easier. I know it could seem overwhelming. Like, man, I'm going to continuously have to put out energy, put out effort to be lead generating all the time. Yes, we do need to do that, but I promise you guys, it does get easier and smoother after you've been in the game for a while, because people start sending you business as long as they were satisfied with your service. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully some of this stuff was helpful for you guys. And like hopefully this will give you guys the permission and reminders to take a break throughout your day. Also continue to stay consistent and also be reflective about what you guys, how you guys are interacting whenever things aren't going exactly your way with this industry. So thank you guys so much for being on today's call. Does anybody have any questions aside from any of this? Like anything at all? Maybe you're working with a client and you're not really knowing how to handle it, or just any questions at all? No? Cool. Well, I'm just going to put it out there for myself and those of you guys that have been experiencing some of the same stuff that I've been. I'm hoping that for me, leads start picking up. Does anybody else have any like intention or anything that y'all want to speak into what's going to happen for you guys in the next couple of weeks?
More clients, more clients. Come on, more clients. I'm speaking it right now. More clients. Closing clients.
Yeah, I was going to say clients that actually get approved.
Yeah, my original goal, it's kind of silly, but it was 8.3 a month because that's what I needed to replace my day job income. So now technically my goal is 10 closed clients a month, but it's crazy because you do 10 a month, why can't you do 30? I mean, our profession is pretty unlimited. You just have to get the system and be consistent, like Jordan's always saying. Just be consistent, don't give up, and just keep working hard at it.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Like it's cool to have watched you, Finian, because like when you first got started, obviously you were working and you were putting in the energy, but there's only so many hours in the day when you have a full-time job, a personal life, maybe, a lot of us have kids, like all of that stuff. There's only so much hours in the day. So it's been cool to watch you go from like, only having a certain amount of hours in your day and you were having traction, you were doing some things with that, but now to see how everything is kind of escalated for your business because you now have more time and you're putting in like the energy and the effort. It's been really, really cool to watch that. So I'm excited to see what you do because I don't think there's anything stopping you from doing 30 leases a month. I think the next like hill to kind of cross over, I think for a lot of you guys that are seeing a lot of success in your business is, okay, how can I scale now? Because obviously there's only one of you. So that can be another conversation that we have. Those of you guys that are seeing a lot of traction in your business, if you guys are getting a lot of leads and maybe you're not able to fully help all of them because there's just so many, or maybe there's certain leads that you want to focus on and you still want to make money off of some other leads that are coming in, but you don't really necessarily want to work them. That's like the next hill to overcome once you've figured out, okay, I have a system here, I'm seeing success, and now I want to scale my business. So there's definitely a handful of you guys that I know that that'll be a conversation that we'll be having soon. Or if you guys want to talk about that like on our next call, I'm always happy to help you. I try to be really transparent with you guys about things that I've done that did or didn't work out. And so hopefully it'll help you guys in the future so y'all don't have to like go through all the fun things that I have. But thank you guys so much for being on the call. As always, I'm available if you guys have questions. Feel free to put them in our group chats or text me individually. I am here and I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope we all have lots of leads that close this week.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you. Bye, guys.